Hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of our podcast focused on innovation and focus on entrepreneurs that share tips for younger generations. Today's guest is Roberto Rivera. Roberto has an impressive career as a trader, is actually one of the best traders in Italy. He is running a fund with more than 18% average return every year for the last 15 years. He recently set up a company in Dubai, RIV Technologies, which is focused on innovation. He's launching a new cryptocurrency subject to the VARA approval, the regulatory approval here in Dubai, which is the RIV Coin. Actually, story is pretty impressive. This cryptocurrency, the white paper of this cryptocurrency has been published in the same journal as the Bitcoin white paper. Welcome to this podcast, Roberto.
Yeah, Rob, you're welcome here in the BBC studios here in Dubai. We know you are a really busy man. You have a lot of appointments in your schedule every day, and it's interesting also to know how you balance all your success, your health, your fitness, because you're also a sport guy. So what do you think is the secret for someone at your level to balance all of this in your life?
Okay, first of all, thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure. And yeah, the answer to this question is quite simple to me, because I would summarize using a few keywords like a lot of discipline, passion, which is the genesis of any genius and any genial idea, and dedication, because dedication makes dreams come true, and above all, family. Family support is something that it's most of the times undervalued, but it's the most important factor in one's success.
Yeah, you mentioned a great point about family, but I mean, your career went straight to the moon, but you had many struggles. So I want you also to share some of the struggle that you faced and how you overcome these struggles.
Wow, it's this was not prepared. Actually, yeah, I had the usual story of a student coming from the university. So I was studying at the university, and at some point I had the chance to be hired at American Express Bank as a derivatives trader, and I was still studying, so being invited at the selections for a junior trader, and I went there even if I was still holding 14 exams left to my degree. I won the selection, and I started as a trader, and immediately in the years to come I did a very good career until 2008, when I was at Lehman Brothers, and immediately after the default of Lehman Brothers, I found myself investigated for financial crimes in Switzerland, and it started a real painful period of my life for something like 11 years. And after 11 years, I've been acquitted by all charges because the facts never happened.
That's quite a long time, actually.
But yeah. Can I ask you, like, how was the situation before 2008? Like, how can you tell us about the banks, how a trader lived? How was the lifestyle of a trader, successful trader like you in those golden years that everybody was making?
Yeah, you're right,
Davide,
money. Because they were really golden years. I mean, the young generations today do not know about what the trading environments were at that time.
It was crazy, huh? You see some
crazy
films
and like to live in a movie. I mean, if you have seen Wall Street 1, it's exactly like this. Traders were the masters of the universe and were considered everywhere kings. So any trader was Gordon Gekko and used to dress like him, braces, suits, the best ones and the most expensive ones around. So, and not only this, I mean, the attitude of the investment bankers and traders and sales, of course, were completely different from today, because the attitude was towards the idea to create a profit, to create a value, to make money for the banks and for ourselves. So maybe today the politically correct attitude of the Western world has brought in a new way to do business. Of course, the last crash and frauds have impacted to some extent to all these changes. But I think we are now in the other extreme point. So it's wrong also the attitude that we see today, not oriented to the profit, rather to the conservative approach of the various institutions.
Because we all saw 1987 Wall Street. And for someone like me, that when I saw it, I started getting hungry. I started getting really into finance and wanted to be a part of this world.
Buddy.
Buddy, exactly. And the climate you could see on those movies of the mess that the office was, everybody shouting, everybody running, is, I think, nothing compared to what you can see now. The computers they used, the way they had to communicate.
Listen, Davide, I can tell you only this. If you use the same attitude today in the office, just in the office, you're going to be arrested for anything, because you cannot behave in that way.
Yeah.
No way that you scream in the office, no way that you talk to the people in that way. And to some extent, I think this is also right. Even if junior people do not learn anymore like in the past. When I started to be a trader, I remember the first day I came to the office at 8 o'clock in the morning, and just to mention an episode, and I entered the office and all the people was already sitting at the dealing room. It was a very small dealing room in Milan, and all the coats were on a chair, and it was the only chair that I could have used. So I tried to move the coats somewhere else, but the chief dealer told me, no, leave it there. And so I didn't know where to sit. So I spent my first day completely standing. Literally the whole day.
You were bullied for coming on time.
Yeah.
The day after, the same story. And the third day, you know what? I came to the office at 6 o'clock because I said, I want to sit down today. And at 6:30, the chief trader entered the office, watching me and saying, okay, now you understand what time you have to come to the office. So it was completely different. Today, maybe you take the guy and you say, listen, here the time is different. At that time, nobody was teaching you in words anything. Everything was either you have the talent or you're out.
And
so the selection...
how was the environment? Like Ferraris, sports cars?
Well, I can tell you this. When Lehman Brothers, at the time of Lehman Brothers, the boxes downstairs were like a museum. I mean, Ferraris, Lamborghini, Bentley, Rolls-Royce. And I remember when I bought my first Ferrari, and I was so happy because at that time it was an achievement. Like if you spent part of your bonus as a status to affirm where you were in the bank, in the hierarchy of the bank. And when I bought my first Ferrari, I remember the head of trading, a Moroccan guy, really smart, really smart, who came over saying, do you think to be done? And I said, what do you mean? Now you have one Ferrari, but you need the others for the other days of the week. And I thought he was joking, but it was not a joke, because the competition was to have the car for Monday and Thursday, the car for Tuesday and Friday, and the other car for Wednesday and the weekend. So usually in the weekend you should have owned a supercar suited by like a normal car for the family, or Monday and Tuesday another couple of Ferraris or Lamborghini or whatever you liked. And I remember, without making any publicity, before the Ferraris, when I used to drive other supercars, they were not enough. So this guy was coming to the desk asking me if I stopped to drive a BMW. So it was like, again, like in a movie, a completely different kind of environment from today. Even if today, if you look at the guru, they try to make publicity about their supercar they buy in Dubai, but guys, buying a Lamborghini in Dubai is the most simple thing that you can do. Or you can rent any car today for nothing. The status in Dubai is to have the Rolls Royce labeled number 9 and driver taking you anywhere. So this is the real status.
So those years, I think we can say, you were all in competition to try to be one better of the other, which is something that maybe now can be seen as politically incorrect, but it worked. Everybody was competing against the other to be able to be more successful, to be able to have the nicest watch, the nicest car, and that was feeding your ego of not only yourself but also of all the other colleagues.
I think there are things that you have to keep and you have to take in your bag without living in the past, because living in the past is always bad. So I like the idea of having still my braces in the locker, but at the same time I dress with jeans and t-shirt like everybody else today. So we go to the meet instead of stopping ourselves to the smoke.
For sure. So jumping on a little, so you had this start of a career coming from the academia, then you said Lehman Brothers, American Express, a lot of successful banks, but you said something happened around 2008. So what happened in 2008? Was it November? Was it in the same period of the crash? It was
November, immediately after the default of Lehman Brothers. I was supposed to move to Nomura, because Nomura bought a part of Lehman Brothers equity and equity derivatives in London. So same office, same location, same colleagues, but different brand. And in November, I discovered to be investigated for financial crimes in Switzerland. Everything due to the fact that I was trading at that time in a segregated compartment of a hedge fund, and I was the only one investor, and basically I did a huge profit. I made a huge profit in 9 months, starting from 1 million euro invested, creating more than 18 million euros in 9 months or slightly more.
It's crazy profits.
Yeah,
Crazy.
everything in derivatives. So with implicit leverage typical of derivatives instruments, all listed. So all the trades listed and the transactions in condition to be verified in real time. But due to a private bank which defaulted, and it was the depository bank of the fund, I felt in the investigation. And as soon as I felt in this investigation, they found a sort of storytelling for everybody, for the government, for the prosecution in general, accusing me to have built up a list of fake transactions with the intent to create fake profits to be distributed between myself and the managers of the bank. So this was absolutely false and immediately verifiable because the transactions were listed, the money was still in the bank. The bank was a tier 1 investment bank where I had the account since ever, and the money was completely clear that was coming from stock exchange transactions. So starting from then,
but wait, if I don't get this wrong, so you were the prosecutors were doing this investigation, like, because they couldn't understand how you could do such big profits. Like, they had to say that you were faking the balance sheets or the transactions because they couldn't explain themselves the huge profit you made in those 9 months, starting from 1 million to 18 million. So that's the point, I think, that made you also put you in a situation where you said...
It was the excuse.
It was an excuse.
Yeah, the excuse, because when the prosecutors, even the best ones, do during their job, they have to justify the reasons behind certain kind of investigations. And they have a budget like any other manager, and they have to justify the expenses, the way they prosecute the people, and the reasons, the potential reasons behind. The best reason for financial crimes is to show that you created a damage. Problem is that in 11 years, as has been demonstrated, that I created only profits. So no damages were around me. No people denouncing me for any reason. I mean, the money within the compartment, it was only my money.
Yeah.
So I used that compartment to create a track record. So I could do the same trades in another way, but it was useful to use a compartment, to be institutional, to interact with the other tier 1 investment banks, and to do things properly. It is what it is. Everybody has some pain in the life.
So what happened exactly? Like, because we know how this works. So you get your accounts freezed, you get everything you have freezed, but maybe not everybody has clear how this is, because what I think it happens is that from being rich and be able to spend whatever every day with your cards, cash, whatever, withdraw cash, spend, buy, it's like immediate that you can't purchase anymore what you want. You can't spend your own money.
It's a weird experience, Davide, because I was at that time, as I said, one of the masters of the universe, so earning a lot of money in the banks where I worked, having a tenor of life with the house on the Lake of Como, 3 Ferraris, best schools for my children, any vacation anywhere in the world, any money in the when you come from scratch and you find yourself in the condition to go anywhere and not having the problem to count the money that you have in the pocket, this is the first step where you realize that you are really improving your life and your tenor of life. At that time, I was wealthy and I was living very well. And since one day to another one, I found myself with the Ferraris in the box, with the villa on the Lake of Como, but without any money in the pocket to pay the gasoline or to pay the people working for me at the villa. So it's a shock, because the people outside sees you as a rich guy. You are on the paper still rich, but you cannot use the money, and you don't have it. You cannot go to the gardener saying, I cannot pay you.
That's really impressive, because I mean, in your life, you suddenly had to face a very stressful situation that will put everyone in real trouble. But you managed, with your resilience and your strength, to overcome this situation.
You know what I did, Guido? I immediately realized that in 24 hours that it was an extreme situation that could have gone on either for a short period of time or for a longer period of time. Short period of time, no problem. I will get my life back shortly, and I will reconstruct easily what I'm going to destroy. Longer period of time, with the money in the pocket and such a cinema to be managed, imposes drastic decisions. So in 24 hours, I immediately decided to sell my Ferraris, sell my collection of Patek Philippe and Rolex, put a mortgage on the house, take all the money, put it in a trust, so not immediately visible to the prosecutors, and starting to trade the money inside the trust to maintain at least the minimum tenor of life. And in the end, I confirmed that I was sufficiently good to assure me and my family a great tenor of life anyway. But there was a time at some point where spending a lot of money for the lawyers, I had also to go to the, for example, to the principal of the private schools where I sent my children, saying, listen, I don't have the money to pay the fees anymore, so I have to take them out. But at that time, the universe is seeing you. And if you behave properly, if you have the right people around, if you put the right thing around you with constance in the time, it can happen, the little miracle every single time. So, for example, about the schools, the owner of the school made me a credit. And I repaid this credit in the years to come, because they said that my children were so good that they deserved to stay there and to complete the studies there.
What I think is a key to understand here, and that's really impressive, is that a lot of people, successful people, entrepreneurs, whatever, when they find themselves in a situation where all their wealth is locked, is freezed, they can't access it, they might fall for asking help to someone, asking help to colleagues, successful friends, to lend them money. But I understand that you didn't have this necessity because
I was diabolically...
you leveraged your trading skills. That was what you were really good at. By being able to get the wealth you had, the Ferraris, the watches, the assets you had, you could sell. You were able to leverage them using all your trading skills, showing that trading is an activity that, if you are able to manage it, can also help you survive in some situations.
Absolutely. I was lucky from this point of view, because the trading skill is something that when you have it, and when you are not an addicted gambler, rather a professional investor, and you are a researcher, and you apply your research skill to understand the best quant strategies to be applied, it's a skill. Undoubtedly, it helps a lot. But yes, I was diabolically keen to not ask any money to anyone.
That's great. That's fantastic. So in these 11 years, obviously, you had a tough situation emotionally, and without talking about all the lawyers, all the process, all the prosecutor, what you had to live, only you know all the emotions that you had to live. So can I ask you, how did you feel the day that the judge gave you the papers telling you were completely innocent? Because that's what happened. That's what we read in the news. That's what exactly happened. How did you feel? Like, did you have a party? I don't know. I would go crazy, I think.
Davide, there are many jokes and stories around this, because when I've been acquitted and the document has been signed, I arrived home and I informed my family that everything was finished, but very quietly. And they didn't believe it, because I was so quiet. I simply informed them that starting from today, everything is cleared and we can restart our life normally. Think about this. In the last 11 years, my family didn't do any holiday. And at some point, always on the wave of the sales that I told you, we had to sell also our second house. So we didn't do any vacation. So I was very quiet, and it's because at the end you have to interpret these kind of things as a bad thing happening to you, as to the others happens something else. I mean, there is people having maybe a son who dies, or another one is sick with a cancer, another one. Everybody has his or her own stories and bad problems.
And actually, after all of this, you founded RIV Capital, and now you are in Dubai, and you are still a pioneer of fintech and of finance. So you didn't stop. That's the great thing. Many people would have stopped.
You know, when everything finished, I had basically the choice to choose between being retired on a bit of money and having a nice life for the rest of my life, or doing what I did, all in. And I restarted with this startup, RIV Capital. And we did a great venture. I'm very lucky because I have a lot of friends and people who, as an evidence, a good opinion of mine, sustaining my initiative and willing to be part of this venture. So we started up, we founded, amongst the other things, RIV Technologies in Dubai. And AI and blockchain are probably the topic of the next couple of years.
Is this, obviously, after all you passed in those 11 years, I get the all in, because I mean, you said after all I have passed, I want to go all in and create something successful. Coming back to the successful life I had, and obviously create success, distribute wealth to also your
It's a
team.
good answer. It's a good question, because the answer to this is that it's not only for a personal ego reason.
Yeah, for sure.
There is for sure passion for something, but at the same time, I did it because, believe it or not, I want to demonstrate to the next generation, especially to my children, that whatever it happens to you in life, passion is doing everything. And you can do whatever you want with your willingness, being keen, being devoted to your goal and passion.
So if you have to give one tip to the younger generation, you would say that passion is the most important thing.
Yeah, if you look at some recent reels that we have done, I used to conclude always saying, dream it, plan it, do it. The dream it is exactly this. You have to find something making you being able to dream. If you don't dream, you cannot. You are not a creator.
Yeah.
You have to think that you can do whatever you want with your brain, and if you can imagine it, then you can do it. The step between the imagination and the passion for your dream to create it is only the planning.
So before we end this lesson, this podcast, this first episode, because unfortunately we know you're a busy man and you don't have a lot of time today, we'll ask you to come back for sure to have some more news about what you're doing with RIV Capital, RIV Technologies, also because we are all in Dubai, so we'll have a lot of occasion to talk about this and have our guest on and confront.
You made me a lot of questions about my legal story, yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
Have you seen the fiction Billions?
Absolutely, yeah.
They stole my story.
It seems so. I have to ask you a last question, because all the time I've been talking to you, I've been my eyes have been disturbed from your watch. Actually, I'm really into watches, so I must ask you, what piece is that? What is it? Where does it come from? Is this a revenge from?
No, this is a very rare and precious Rolex Daytona with full pavé diamonds and the hours rubies. Probably around 10 pieces in the world.
That's beautiful. Absolutely.
This is another thing, because in the older, let's conclude in this way. The old generation used to buy things with money in the pocket and not to rent to appear. So watches is one of the best investment that you can do to save money and to keep your cash, which is king always, cash in a good way. Absolutely. And you can wear it, you can enjoy it.
Absolutely.
In Dubai, beautiful. Even better than
Dubai
any
is
other
safe.
place in
you
the
can
world.
Wear it in Dubai, for sure. Okay, that's good. So thank you for being today with us.
Thank you.
We will invite you other times for sure, maybe with other guests together, so we can have a conversation. And we're really happy that you talked about your story, and we really wish you the best on your adventure here in Dubai and all the things that you're creating.
Thank you, Davide. Thank you, Guido.
Thank you, Roberto.
Thank you very much.